The spotlight's on you.
Oh, I did not know that you literally meant the spotlight. That's a little bright. That's a little bright.
You
Turn
can't
that
take
down.
the pressure?
Yeah, can't take the pressure. Dial that down just a little
Okay.
bit. Oh, okay. It's 1993. It is a couple of years after I have been released, let go,
Released?
Fired from In Living Color, fired from my first job in Living Color. And so I've been, just out there in the world still doing stand-up. I had a couple of holding deals. That's when they give talent money to not do anything while they develop something for you, and then nothing gets developed.
So you were in purgatory.
I was in the purgatory of waiting to work again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
the life of a actor, performer, comedian.
it's how it goes.
Okay.
Right. And I get a phone call one day.
Let's reenact it. Bring, bring. Oh,
Oh, it's my manager, Sinclair. My manager's name was Sinclair. Go figure. Hey, Sinclair. Hey. Yeah, just sitting around. I'm not doing nothing. A meeting? Where? Warner Brothers. I'm in. And so we go to Warner Brothers to a meeting. I meet with Les Moonves. At the time, it was still called Lorimar Productions.
that's right. I remember that. Les Moonves was the president of Lorimar.
And so I go up to Warner Brothers, and this is, I've been taking meetings all along. So okay, another meeting. And in this meeting, the executives and Les say that they want to do a show about women, about Black women, about their friendships and relationships and career and sex and, all the things. And they mentioned a very pivotal scene inside of Jungle Fever, affectionately termed the War Council scene. So it's a bunch of women sitting around talking about men and what they're doing, what they're not doing right.
And these are the people at Warner Brothers
At
who have
Warner
mentioned
Brothers.
this scene. And you were in the room with Sinclair, just you and
Just
Sinclair.
Sinclair and I, just in
Okay,
this room,
this is
and
interesting.
all the executives. And
I
so
love this.
proof that our culture, matters and our culture influences, and they knew that film and that scene in particular, these women talking, was magical. And so I said, I'd love to do something like that, but if the show is about bashing men, I'm not interested. Now, I realize now that scene wasn't so much about just bashing men. It was like understanding what men are
But
doing.
you were already setting boundaries and telling them what would
absolutely.
go down. And that speaks to your integrity and also speaks to how consequential you were already in the world, because they called you because you had stood out on Living Color. So let's just give props to that badass.
Thank you. Even though I've been fired. That's a story for another
but
day.
guess what?
Right, but that's nice
Better
to know.
days coming,
But I was
okay.
talent that was sort of being, courted in other places and nothing had landed. So that's nice to know. And it's a nice position to be in, to go, like, we may want to create something for you. And I was like, that's great. But if it's about bashing men, I'm not, no thank you. They were like, okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, by the way, what do you think of Queen Latifah? I was like, I love Queen Latifah. Oh my goodness, she's amazing. And
Come on.
she and I had just met backstage at an award show. And it's interesting, she was in her mirror this way and I was in my mirror this way in the makeup room, and we both turned around. I was like, oh my goodness, I love you. And she said, oh my goodness, we watched Living Color on our tour bus. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've been such a fan, and I'm from Brooklyn, you from Newark. Hey girl. It was just a love
Reflections
fest.
of already. The universe is
moment.
starting to create.
Yeah, the magic.
That's the magic. Okay.
Nice hug. And so I flashed to that moment like, oh my goodness, I love her. And they're like, okay, would you like to work with her? And I was like, who wouldn't want to work with the Queen? This is amazing. I don't even know what this is yet, but I'm a yes. I didn't know that they were having meetings with her at the same time. So they must have said, what do you think of Kim Coles? And she signed off on me.
Okay, got
so
it.
we both approved of each other.
I
Yes.
love it.
And I requested that we have somebody Black. Like, can we get someone Black to create this show? That would be awesome.
Well, now this is a very unique thing because you're talking about the showrunner.
Yeah.
Who's going to just not ideate and develop, but you're also saying we need a certain point of view.
We need a certain point of view.
Already still flexing, saying I ain't gonna bash, and we need somebody who can tell our story.
But what's interesting is I wasn't aware that I was flexing at the moment. I just was like, I'm in a space where I'm just going to ask for what I want. I wasn't even aware of the power of that. I didn't walk in like a boss, like I want this and I want that. I was like, it would be really nice if we could get somebody Black, and it'd
Kim,
be really
that just
nice.
says you were already a boss. You didn't walk in like a boss. It's in your DNA.
I understand that now, but I wasn't thinking
But
that.
you know who you are when no one's looking.
Absolutely.
No one was
Absolutely.
looking. You didn't even know you were flexing, but you wasn't flexing. That's just your
I was just
Tuesday.
being. I
That's
was like,
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Do it. Come on, Queen.
But it's like if you can ask the question, and this is important to know, because I think
real.
that we have this expectation or this desire to be a particular way, not knowing that just being ourselves is enough sometimes.
That's
I
real.
didn't know that I couldn't ask for it, so I was just like, why not? Latifah and I were at the same agency. We were both at William Morris. And so it was understood that this was going to be what they call a package. So because you have at least two pieces of the pie that are at the same agency, why not try to keep that going if you can?
And that's what a package deal is that's when an agency has maybe a star, and in this case two, and so they start to design the project around existing talent that they represent.
Right. That way they get to come in with their power, right? So we were given a list of writers who were in the William Morris family. And on that list was Yvette Denise Lee. Each of us met with her separately. Latifah and I talked and said, I like her too. And Yvette was chosen as the one that could have this opportunity to create the show. And she had been at Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and she had been
Different World.
Right.
Yeah, she's been doing it.
Right. Yeah. And it was the right time. And young and smart.
From Stanford,
right.
Philly.
Right.
You know, she'd had many lives before and also had built her power and reputation.
Right.
So these, again, powerful forces coming together, doing their own. I love it.
And again, younger than me. You know, I was older than all of y'all, actually, which is fun to experience. I was like, I don't think I had myself together at 23, 24 like y'all did. So
I think you did, Kim, because you wouldn't have been in that room with power unless you had been building when you were in your 20s.
I get that,
Again,
but in the
I just need to
moment,
give you.
I'll take the flowers.
I'm just
but
saying.
It's important to know I wasn't thinking that at the time.
I know.
So I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying that it's important to know that I didn't even know what I had.
I understand.
And imagine if I did, then who
You
knows?
would have been a demon. I'm glad you didn't know. So
Keep me humble.
Yeah.